Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I will discuss about that things with you, how you can dynamically show all that your category in our menu option area. So in this video, I will want to show display our author name. Like here in our authors, so into this position right now, they have the two authors as the Ariyan and the Kazi. So now if you want to visible your author name in your homepage area, then how can do that work? So we can do that things with using the app service provider. As I told you, with this view share you can access every page and you can pass every value. Okay, so right now I just want to pass our author value. For doing this, like here I just first of all take one of the variable as an author. Okay, and for the author I already created one of the model as a user. So for now I just define our user model, and into the user model I have to define one of the conditions. Like here I define as a where. Okay, I just define that one of the where condition, and in particular that area I want to define, like if you go to our author, like that is actually the user table, and into the user table here you can see there is a admin is type for actually one, and two is for the author. Okay, so here two is for the author, there is another type as a two, so only id one is for the admin. So here I just want to define one of the conditions, like without this one id, if he get all that others id from to this position, that is from to this our user table. Okay, so that's the condition I want to define on here. Like here I just define as a where, and first of all I have to define our field name like id, and for the id I just define one of the condition not equal. Okay, so here I just define as a not equal will be one. So here I just define as a one. So here it means without one id he get all the others data. So here I just define get. Okay, I just define get all the data from our database table. So here I use our user model, so we have to use it. So I just define as a use, and then app, and then our user. I just define our user model on particular that position. Okay, I hope you can well understand about it. So that is our condition. So now we have to do, we have to assign that things in our array. Like I just copy it. Okay, I just copy it and paste it. So here I have to assign that comma. For the last we don't need the comma. Okay, so here I just define the name as authors, and here on particular that position is actually I just define as a authors, then it will be better. So here I just define name as a authors. Okay, so now I want to display that things in our header part. That means here, so this will be just like the same, better I just copy it. Okay, so that is the for each. So actually better I just put the things in one line, and then I just copy it, and here I just paste on particular that position. So that is a shared data, and now that is name. So here I just define that name as authors. So I just define that as authors. I just define as author. Okay, so authors as I define as author. So now here you have to do, you have to assign that after the slash author, and then here I have to define our author ID, and also here I have to define as a author name. So now let's check this out. I just click on the save all, and now if you go to that place, and now if you refresh that page, yes, now you can see there is a Ariyan and the Kazi is now visible on here. So here there is our only two authors as a Ariyan and the Kazi. For the reasons now it's actually visible on particular that position. So actually I just want to make that height a little bit higher. Like I just click on the impact element, and here I just define that nav. So that nav here I just define is a margin, so I just define that margin, it will be higher. Okay, like here I just want to do it as a, I just define as a 15, and 15 is not enough, so I just define as a 10. Yeah, 10 is the perfect, so 10% will be the enough. So that is in our css, and here if you put your cursor, like you can see there is actually the public and the font and the css and the style.css, and then in your style.css there is a 407. Okay, so now I have to go that place. Like if you go to that public, so that is our public folder, where it is. So that is actually public. So in our public, that is our font. In our font, that is a CSS. So that is our style.css. So now we have to go our style.css 407. So now I just want to go to 407. So here that is actually 40. That is the 407. Here you can see that is actually the 18%. So I just make the things as a 10%. So with this impact element, you can actually temporarily work on particular that position, and after that you find out that appropriate file location, and then here I go on particular that area, and now 10 is okay with me. I just click on the save all, and now I just start it, and now if you refresh it, yeah, now you can see it's not perfect. And then here I also want to update that static date. Okay, right now that is actually the static date is visible, so that is in our header. Like if you go to that header part, that is should be here. Like if you can see that is actually that's a date, and that is actually the all the total date and also the year. So for now I want to do for showing that date, they have some of the functions, like if you define as a second bracket, and into the second bracket here you have to define the date. Okay, and into the date here I just define as a L. So here I just define that L, and now let's check this out. I just click on the save all, and now if you go to that place, and now if you click on the refresh, yeah, you can see now there is actually Thursday. So now Thursday is perfectly visible on particular that area, and now also I want to update at the time. So for showing the time, they have also another function. So it's pretty much common one of the functions. Like here I have to define as a date, and then in particular that position I have to define that J, and then I have to define as a F. Okay, capital F, and then I just want to do, I added the dot, and then I define that Y. So that is actually the one of the pretty much common one of the code. Now let's check this out, it's working or not. I just click on the save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see now it's totally dynamic. So now actually that is actually our today. So that is 25 July 2019. So it's perfectly now work on particular that area. So I will continue this process, and in our next video I will show you how can update our this sidebar. In our sidebar, that is our popular news. So all that popular news will be visible on particular that position. So how can do that work with the images, with the title, and also by the author name. Here I already added our author name in a particular that page, so we can easily actually display our author name on particular that position, and also that is date. So I also assign our date on here. So with the same function I want to display our date on particular that area. So how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.